Draft pick Quinnen Williams is the talk of the town in New York, but the 21-year-old rookie can't help but be a little starstruck by his new teammates. Say what?
So, yeah, I was like a little fan at first because, like, you got to think about it at the time, like 7 months ago, I didn't know I was going to start. So it's like to be in this position right now, like, I'm like, bro, that's crazy. So, like, when I get to meet people, I be like, man, that's dope. Like, I met Le'Veon Bell yesterday, and I'm like, whoa, like, this Le'Veon Bell, like, the number one running back in the NFL, like, it's just crazy. So, but I know I'm one of the people too, though. So it's like, but I don't really look at it like that, though. So like, I met Sam Darnold, that's crazy. Like, bro, you Sam Darnold, Jamal Adams. I'm like, bro, I got Jamal Adams on my ultimate team, so it's like, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
Got Jamal Adams on his Madden Ultimate team. See, and if we zoom in on the fella's face right there, he's already got the braces. Yeah, that's your advice to young guys when they
he had this at Alabama. They got a scholarship program. They got a dental program there, too. Nick Saban knows appearance is very important. But I need him to keep that same personality.
Yeah.
I mean, same personality. He's from down home Alabama. He is so excited, and he is right. 11 months ago, he didn't know if he was going to be a starter at Alabama. I'm looking forward to watching his career. Now, the big city, he's a long way away from home.
Oh, yes,
and he's a kid, man.
No doubt.
I mean, all these guys drafted are young, obviously, but he's about as young as you can be to be drafted in the NFL, 21 years old. And his personality, all these interviews you've seen from him.
Wide-eyed, excited.
He's got a little locket that he spent some new money on. Got a picture of his mom. Read the story on him and his mom. And his mom passed away.
That's awesome.
Yes.
All right, time now for Stories to Start Your Morning, sponsored by Gillette Clear Gel. The Toronto Raptors sent the Sixers packing last night thanks to Kawhi's incredible series-clinching buzzer beater. 2 of Kawhi's 41 points. CC, how impressive was the moment?
Oh, it was impressive. Impressive as I've seen. Besides the Jordan, a couple of moments he hit that shot against Craig Elo and the Cavs to be able to knock them out. The shot he hits against Russell against Utah. This one will be right up there. Game 7, though, that bounce on the rim is one of a kind.
Bounce on the rim is one of a kind, and the game really did remind me of Game 6, Bulls-Jazz 98. That game was a defensive struggle. Final score 87-86. This one, 92-90. Jordan in that game scored 45, but it took him 35 shots. Kawhi in this game scored 41, took him 39 shots. Had to do everything on both ends, culminating what was a spectacular series for him. Now for the Raptors, the others got to step their game up here in this next round.
There's no doubt.
Because Milwaukee is a different animal.
Yeah, they were terrified to shoot there at the end. The other Raptors.
And everybody, man, these Game 7s find out who's ready, who's not.
All right, moving on. Blazers beat the Nuggets in Game 7 to advance to the Western Conference Finals. 100-96 was the final. C.J. McCollum leading the way for Portland with 37 points. Blazers now face the Golden State Warriors. Nick, how impressive was CJ in this one?
And I talked to CJ briefly after the game, and I told him, like, I don't know if he recognizes 37 points in a road Game 7, the type of elite company that puts him in. No one's ever had 50 in a Game 7 anywhere. He was 10 points shy of the all-time Game 7 scoring record, and he did it on the road against the higher seed, against the heavy favorite, when his guy, Dame was having a rough night. What was he, 3 of 17 from the field? So they needed every last moment, and that last play of the game, he says, I told Coach Stotts, set them down low, 1-4 low.
I'll get you a bucket.
I'll get you a bucket. And he got them that bucket.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Spectacular athletes. I'm more impressed with he decides to talk with Nick Wright. After the greatest game of his career, my homeboy from Ohio, I can't get a call from him. Look, I introduce you to people, and you Odell Beckham. Oh, yeah, I talked to OBJ. He was in town last night.
We got commonalities, man.
Bruh, now we got CJ, bruh, don't be calling Nick Wright, man, after your big moment, dog. Not Nick Wright.
Great game, CJ.
All right, finally, as we all predicted when LeBron got to L.A., the Lakers hired Frank Vogel to be their new head coach. It is a 3-year deal. Vogel previously coached in Orlando and Indiana, where he battled LeBron in the conference finals multiple times. He'll be joined by former head coach Jason Kidd, who will reportedly have a prominent role on his bench. Nick, what do you make of the hire? I mean, looking at you.
You go.
Looking at you, Colin.
Because I want to hear what you say.
This is the thing. When you were reading it, I changed my mind. We were going to go to Nick to have him start, but
it even said season.
Go ahead. But go ahead.
But this is Jenna, I just wanted to say this first. I would feel a lot different if we started the search with him part of the process. If Vogel would have been part, we're going to interview 5 people. We're going to look at Juwan Howard.
I mean, because he wasn't even part of the first 4 candidates.
No. So if we start that way, I can be unhappy with who you select and believe they're going to select someone. You could have selected someone better. But if you're in the search and then you finish the search, select a coach. Oh, he turns you down because based on what's been said, Monty turned them down first before Ty Lue had a chance to turn them down. So now you get 2 coaches turn you down. You reopen the search, and it's a 1-person search. No one else is interviewed. That right there, it's going to be hard for me unless you just have some superior coaching skills or you have an unbelievable resume for me to overcome just the whole process of how we got to whoever they selected, Nick.
If Frank Vogel was hired this offseason to be the coach of any other team, it might not make the show. But if it did make the show, here's what I would have said for any other team, any team. How the hell this guy get a job this quickly? We have documented evidence that he is not a good NBA coach. Documented evidence. Now, maybe he'll turn it around. 3rd time's a charm. He did a nice job in Indiana, and he got into a couple conference finals. Paul George, Roy Hibbert. They even got to a Game 7 against LeBron's Miami Heat team. And at that point, he looked like a really good head coach. Then Paul George got hurt. They had a bad year. The following year, they got bounced in the first round in 7 by, I think, the Raptors. And Larry Bird in Indiana said, we need a change. And at that moment, people thought Frank Vogel was a good coach. And he got hired to take over an up-and-coming Orlando team. Immediately, didn't have to miss no time. Go, Orlando. They had won 35 wins. They were trying to make a push for the playoffs. Coming off 35 wins, they won 25 games. They won 29 games. He gets fired, and they make the playoffs immediately without him. Same roster, top 6 scorers, the exact same. Orlando last year with 25 wins. This year with 42 wins. Same roster.
Maybe have some of the same young, talented players, lottery picks that he was supposed to develop, just like the Lakers, besides LeBron.
This is baffling that Frank Vogel gets a 3rd bite at this apple for any team, much less a team with immense pressure to win immediately and right now. I do hope there are a few other things about this that are like the Jason Kidd part of this. They clearly wanted to hire Jason Kidd. They were so upset by the optics of it. People were like, well, I mean, he stabbed coaches and teammates in the back as a player. He had a domestic violence allegation. He got a DUI. He had he finagled his way out of Brooklyn. He went to Milwaukee. Did some. So they were so upset by the optics of that. Do you remember after they interviewed Jason Kidd, who they clearly wanted to hire? They leaked to the media. Oh, it was a fake interview. It was just courtesy interview. And now they make Vogel take him on a staff because Vogel will take all the things Ty Lue didn't want to take. 3-year deal, no problem. You pick my staff, no problem. I'm just happy to get another coaching job. This is baffling, but it should put to rest this notion. LeBron James, the puppet master. LeBron James, remember, he in charge of everything in LA. He wasn't in charge of this. And Frank Vogel, if he's going to be a good coach, he's going to have to prove it to me because I watched Orlando last year be a disaster, and this year with the same players, be a playoff team.
Well, it can't be too baffling because Luke Walton, who basically had a disastrous season this year with the Lakers, didn't have to wait more than a minute and a half, and he got a job in Sacramento. But then tell me why. Tell me what the Lakers saw in Vogel that either we don't see or fans don't see or the media's not seeing, that they thought this is the guy that's going to come in, going to help us win, going to help us land a free agent, going to help us get back into the playoffs. Like, just someone explain it to me.
Well, I can't tell you what the Lakers saw. I don't know what Kurt Rambis, because it would be hard for me to look through life through Kurt Rambis' shades. But there was something Kurt Rambis saw. I don't see it. And if Kurt Rambis is a part of your selection as far as you selecting a coach, there's no telling what you might end up with. But I'm going to tell you this, though. There wasn't people calling. This wasn't a coveted job. I wonder if they didn't hire Frank Vogel, how many more coaches, credible NBA coaches, could they have interviewed? Because you already had 2 turn the job down. This right here with LeBron James, this is embarrassing. One of the stellar franchises with one of the great players we've ever had. Nobody wanted this job.
Well, I think I can answer your question very directly. What they saw in Frank Vogel. Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis saw a guy that was not going to fight them for any modicum of control.
Yes.
Rob Pelinka
they wanted to keep power.
Runs the Los Angeles Lakers. He is the final word in all of it. Well, this is now he might have to report to Jeannie Buss, who then I guess reports to Linda Rambis, who then, but Rob Pelinka, I thought Brian Windhorst, to his credit, laid this out very intelligently in an article people should read. There's two types of coaching hires.
Yes.
Bold ones or ones where you want to hold on to as much power as possible. So you hire a coach, you're going to take a 3-year deal. You're going to let me pick your staff. No problem. I just want it, man. I thought I was going to have to go be an assistant for years before I get another opportunity. No problem. I get to coach the Lakers. We'll be in the playoffs. Sure. So this was about Rob Pelinka consolidating his power. When Magic walked out the door, we thought Pelinka could lose some power. They'd bring in Masai. They'd try to get Bob Myers. They'd call up R.C. Buford.
Now we know why that plan
never happened.
Was never discussed.
No. And also we know that maybe Pelinka's quest for power is one of the reasons Magic walked out the door. And I'm going to say, there's one other thing that I want to say that's in reference to this show. Because when we were first talking about the Lakers coaching search, and it was Monty Williams, Ty Lue, and Juwan Howard were the 3 candidates we were discussing, I believe, at the time. Jason Kidd, I don't think, was discussed. Steven Jackson was on this set, and people got very mad at him. Because Steven Jackson said, I'll be honest with you, I don't care who they pick, I'm just glad it's a black coach. And his point was, black coaches don't get the opportunities some of their white contemporaries do. Black coaches certainly don't get to be Frank Vogel. Don't ever play, fail in one spot, have a disastrous tenure in another spot that we find out immediately thereafter the team's better without you. 1 year out of coaching, go coach the Lakers. Like Ty Lue, everyone's like, oh, Ty Lue, they offered Ty Lue the same contract they offered Frank Vogel. Ty Lue was a success when 3 NBA Finals won a championship, and it's just ridiculous.
On the other side of that, because I believe there's another argument on that, it's hard to argue when 2 African Americans turn down the job. Now, maybe if you have a different topic, you've been like, oh, we might go, yes, they might not get the opportunity, but when 2 brothers turn down the job, that's not the time to be asking, well, man, African-American coaches don't get, yeah, that part is true, but 2 guys turned this job down.
Right, but I guess the only thing I'd say is Ty Lue being offered the same contract you offered to Frank Vogel, like
that was a conversation we should have had before Frank Vogel. So,
sure.
I mean,
I understand your point, but go ahead.
The biggest question now is going to be if they can land or what free agent they are going to land, and you wonder how much now Vogel is going to affect that move. All right,
let's Pelinka, man.
Yeah, let's move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. Their season came to an end last night on